everyone, I'm Cass and this is the Mind Your Being podcast, a space where we'll explore health and what it really means to care for our whole being, our physical, mental and emotional health. Each episode you'll hear from leading health and wellness experts or everyday people who share powerful insights and lived experience. And sometimes it'll be just me, sharing thoughts, tools and reflections from my own journey. More than anything, I want you to feel supported, encouraged and empowered to make informed health choices that feel right for you. If this sounds good to you, please enjoy. Welcome to Mind Your Being. Today's episode is a really lovely conversation about skin health, confidence and caring for ourselves through midlife. I'm joined by Liv Slee, the owner of Oak and Eve Beauty here in my local community, Illawarra, New South Wales. Liv began her career in makeup before moving into skin therapy, and in this conversation, she shares why skin health is about so much more than how we look. It's about confidence, well-being, and feeling comfortable in your own skin. We spend time unpacking one of my favourite skin treatments, and that is skin needling. We talk about what it actually is, how it works, who it's for, and why it can be such a supportive treatment for midlife skin. I hope you'll enjoy this conversation. If it's something that you've been nervous to try, I hope you feel a little bit more reassured about giving it a go and a little bit more confident in your own skin. Now let's get into the episode. Good morning, Liv. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I wondered if we could start with you telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to start your own beauty salon.
So for me, I started in makeup when I was 17, 18. I'd always been interested in art and I was enrolled to become a primary school teacher at uni, and I went to a careers advisor day and I saw this lady and she was covered in body paint on one side of it and the other side of it was like blood and guts, and I was like, oh, that looks amazing. And then as I got into it, I fell in love with bridal makeup in particular. And so bridal makeup, you got these women that have so much pressure on themselves to look a certain way on a certain day. And often by the time I got to them with makeup, their skin needed the help before I could help them. That's when I kind of started out doing more beauty side of things versus makeup. Skin kept coming up as that constant thing that everyone wished that they didn't have to wear as much makeup and they didn't have to feel like, you know, the pigment on their skin or the pimple that they saw that they felt so embarrassed or ashamed of, even though the average person walking past them wouldn't notice it at all. They felt like that impacted themselves in terms of confidence and how they enjoyed their day. And you had that kind of, oh my God, is everybody looking at this thing that no one else could really see? But for you, it was important. So when we got into the space to be able to actually do those sorts of treatments, that really was empowering, because by the time they then got to me to do makeup, I could only do so much. But by the time they got there, it really did make a big difference if they felt good in their skin. So that was what kind of led us to here, which is cool.
What does beauty and skin health mean to you personally and professionally?
I think from a professional standpoint, when you think of skin health, you think of keeping your skin barrier intact so that it's functioning well. Like there's all of those layers of skin function that makes skin healthy. But when you're walking, you know, in your own life, you're thinking, if I've got good skin, it means that I wake up in the morning and I feel good about myself. I don't have to feel like I have to put as much makeup on. You know, that you can look at a photo of yourself and not feel like you have to pick yourself apart. That is what I think skin health is for the average person, is that they feel good. And there's obviously a lot to the beauty side of things that makes that happen, but everyday life is what gives you that enjoyment and gives you that respect for yourself as well, because you can wake up in your own skin and feel good.
Yeah, it is that confidence, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know for myself, having had acne as a teenager and now still skin redness, yeah, whatever you can do to help yourself feel confident.
It makes a big difference, and it really shows in the way you present yourself. And, you know, if you're confident within yourself, you're more likely to, you know, stand up for yourself. And like there's all those little things that play into confidence, and the way you look and feel about yourself is a big part of that.
It definitely is. It's all comes to your total wellness and your total well-being. Everything, yeah.
All ties together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've come here to Okaneve today to get a skin needling treatment done. So for those who are unfamiliar, can you tell us what is skin needling and how does it work on the skin?
Sure. So skin needling sounds a lot worse than what it actually is. Unfortunately, the name does nothing for its appeal. The idea of skin needling is it's creating a controlled wound in the skin, whether that be very superficial or a little deeper, but that controlled wound then triggers a response and it allows the skin to heal in a controlled way versus if you get a pimple, it goes into panic mode. Or if you get a cut, you get a scab and then that scab has to heal. So it's done under trauma in a moment of stress, whereas skin needling creates that moment of trauma in a controlled way. So we are able to allow the skin to regenerate versus panic, which is the difference. So we're able to essentially trigger different responses, whether that be to inhibit melanin production for those that have pigmentation concerns. For someone with acne scarring, obviously we have to remodel the fibers of the skin and the way the skin meshes together to reduce the scar. There's also things like pore size and fine lines, wrinkles, all of those sorts of things that can be triggered depending on how far down into the skin we go. And when you're talking about depth with skin needling, I think people think of it as this really painful process. It's going to be really intense, but sometimes we go like 0.2 or 0.3 of a millimeter. So it's so superficial. You would feel more pain and more impact from someone scratching you with their nail than what you would actually feel with a skin needling device, which is really good. So it's very scary in the name, but the actual practice of it can be very shallow. We're doing really a maximum of 1.5 millimeters at the most. So if you think about how deep that is, it's really in that top layer of our skin. And that's why we don't want to go so deep and really cause deeper trauma, because we want to keep it on the surface where we can actually control the situation. And that's what skin needling is all about. So you can remodel the skin. It's all about regeneration and done in a controlled way.
And the actual device has multiple little needles, doesn't it? So it's not like just people aren't getting a needle injected into their face or
Absolutely,
anything.
yeah. It's nothing like a blood test. It's nothing like a tattoo. It's nothing like that. So depending on the device, they'll have sometimes 6, 9, 12 little microscopic needles, and the diameter of them is also very, very small. So they are like little tiny pinpricks in the skin, but the device itself as well is designed to make it more comfortable. So it vibrates. So you feel the vibration over feeling the impact. I actually find the vibration to kind of tickle it in some spots of my skin, and then other areas I don't even feel the needles going in at all. So it really depends on the person, but there are some big scary myths out there. It really does turn people off, but it's nothing like it used to be. So it's a lot less downtime, less pain.
It's not much downtime at all, really, is it?
No. I had needling done just over a fortnight ago, and I went straight back out and did brow waxes and had appointments all afternoon. No one even knew I had it. So my skin just looked fresh after a facial. If you can walk straight back out and no one knows, you know that the downtime's not going to be severe, because you can't even tell straight after, and that's when it's at its worst.
You mentioned a few of the skin concerns, so melanin, pore size, acne scars. Any other skin concerns it helps treat, and why do you think it's becoming so popular?
It kind of has a really big range, and it comes down to the knowledge of your therapist as to how they know that they can trigger or tweak the treatment to suit your particular concerns. And you may be able to treat multiple concerns on the face depending on the device as well. So we can change the depth mid-treatment to do different things as well. There are so many different options because of the flexibility now within the devices as well. Back when microneedling came out, it was a roller, which a lot of people would have seen. And you rolled it across the skin. But what would happen is the needle would go in on an angle as it comes towards you. And then as it rolled over, it kind of created like a V. As it rolled over and created a bigger wound, and you only had the depth of that particular roller that you were using at that time. Whereas now with the devices, we just flick a switch and it goes to 0.2 to 1 millimeter to 1.5 depending on what you're treating. So if someone has acne, for example, you go deeper. We change it where you have scarring, but we're not treating you for acne scarring over your whole face if you only have it in a small spot. So you can do pigmentation. You can treat acne, scarring. You can treat stretch marks as well, which a lot of people don't think of on the body. So we've had ladies come in after having babies, and they're quite upset about what's happened around their belly or the tops of their thighs, and we've been able to needle and get results for that. So there's lots of different things, but it's really about knowing that you're partnering yourself with a therapist that treats that concern really well, because anyone can buy a needling device online these days and it's quite open. So you want the therapist to have the knowledge.
Advise that.
No,
You
not
want
at all.
Someone who's experienced with this
Exactly.
treatment.
Yeah, and also you can needle different things into the skin too, which can also help with those different responses. But knowing that you've got a professional therapist that knows what they're doing is the key to it. And that person is who you should choose based on the concerns that you want to treat.
It's a versatile treatment, but it's not something to take lightly, not to do yourself, not to just go to someone who doesn't have a reputation like for, skin therapy.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's where the popularity does come from, the fact that now it's so accessible, which is great. But with that, I guess, comes that element of caution, is making sure that they've got the right person for the right skin concern, for the right client. And there's that relationship you want to build. The rise of skin needling itself, I think, because it's come so far and it's not as deep and intense as it used to be, people can go about their day now. And the results are one of the most, I guess, transformative in the industry as to what we can do. And especially if you're not wanting to go down the track of Botox or like injectables, it's a really good way to regenerate your skin.
It really is. I think the results are fantastic.
Yeah.
I've had like laser rejuvenation before because I have that redness and capillaries, and the laser's awesome for the redness and capillaries. It's supposed to rejuvenate, and it does to a degree, but not post-treatment with needling. I think your skin is still glowing and plump for months.
Yes. Yeah.
Laser doesn't offer that for me.
Yeah, it's a different mechanism and they're looking for a different response in the skin. So you do get a different outcome. But that's what's good, is you've got that versatility. Like if I want to really smash out one particular concern very quickly, things like eye peel and laser can do that faster than needling can. But you don't have the downtime that you do like with laser if you go something like needling. So you have that opportunity to switch things up.
Yeah, you can have needling in your lunch break. And
you can, back
to it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about different needle variations or skin depth. You can even go around the eye gently, can't you?
You can, and over the lip.
And décolletage.
Yeah, so you can do backs of the hands as well. We've had a couple of ladies that like to get that done because unfortunately our hands cop so much sun damage. We don't take care of the skin on our hands and our décolletage like we do on our face. We'll put skincare on just to our jaw but forget about our neck and stuff. So yeah, you can, if you've got skin, you can needle essentially any area. It's about knowing that you've done the right prep to get the best results for that area too. But yeah, you can choose whatever you like. Stomach, stretch marks.
So is skin needling suitable for midlife skin? And I think you've talked about some of the results, but what kind of results can women expect?
So if you're looking at the, 35 to 55, if you're thinking about that sort of age group, that's the majority of our clientele here. Right. So we can definitely get results for that age group. Where you find that, I guess, the results are harder is when you've got active acne. So if you have, hormonal acne, and that we do have to kind of have a bit of a different train of treatment. But the idea of kind of going through needling is you get yourself prepped and ready. The more you're prepped and ready and the more you do at home, the better your needling results are going to be. Like anything, if you go to the gym, you do your workout, you don't get abs on your first day, but after a period of time, you do get those results. So skin needling is the same. It's like a workout for your skin, and that healing and response time is really supported by what you do at home. And across the board, you've got a big variety of things you can do. It can be very simple, or you can go nuts. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
And every skin's going to be different. But the results, you should see a reduction in your concerns. So you should see a reduction in fine lines and wrinkles. You should see a more even skin tone. If you're targeting things like scarring, you should see a reduction in that as well. But what you want is overall more confidence. You want a glowing complexion, and you want to know that you can walk out of your house and feel good about yourself. And I feel like needling is quite handy in the fact that you can go and get your treatment done and then you just can maintain it. You don't have to keep being a slave to beauty treatments all the time. You can just pop back in and out. As long as you're kind of keeping in touch with your therapist, you can come back and forth and maintain at home for a really long time, and the results keep kind of they're sustainable.
I found that initially prior to getting married about 18 months ago, as you know, I came here for a series of treatments to get my skin in tip-top shape before the wedding. And then I've had some needling treatments like in between then and now.
Yeah.
But I find the results are quite long-lasting, and especially like not just that plumpness and clarity of skin, but for me, the congestion around the nose and the inner cheek area, it lasts for quite a long time.
It does, yeah. It's really good at keeping your skin, actively working and keeping your skin healthy.
You talk about the needling. There is that initial wound, but it definitely helps with barrier function as well. My skin has improved. I've always, for many years prior to the skin needling, had a compromised barrier, especially under my lower lip on my chin. It's just a thin area, I think.
Yeah.
But the needling and good skincare as well has really helped to strengthen that.
It does, yeah. And I think because if your skin's reacting and it's healing itself, it's going to keep healing your barrier too. So it's, even though we are going through the barrier essentially by needling and creating that wound, because your skin's then in a controlled state to heal, everything heals better.
So how many sessions are typically recommended for someone just starting out with needling treatments?
It varies. We say 3 to 4 to start off with, but ideally 6. Okay. The reason why is because your skin at first, you want it to go through those stages of that initial healing process, and you want your skin cell to turn over. But it takes time for those base cells that are in the layers of your skin to actually get up to the top. So when we're needling, we're working under the skin, and it takes time for that to come up. So what we want to do is we essentially want to get all those cells that are at the bottom layers, get them right up to the top, and then we want to keep going and getting those other ones up through the top as well. So if that momentum happens, then that's when you're going to get that continued and long-term response versus just having one. I think a lot of people think of quick fixes these days and things, it's the instant generation, it's that I want it to be done now. And I think that's where things like laser are quite popular, because it's a fast response, or it's like quick, things like there's lots of strong peels and stuff like that out there for pigment, for example. Great to start off with, but long term you may not get the results, but then they're back to square one. But with needling, if you actually put the time in and you commit to the series, by the time you get through your 6, which you may do fortnightly, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, depending on your skin concerns, by the time you get to your 6, you've seen results, and you're now banking those results to get longer out of those treatments versus coming in every now and again to try and start from scratch, I guess.
Your skin just keeps getting healthier.
It does, yeah. And I think with the commitment of thinking, okay, oh my God, I have to be in there every fortnight or every month, it's an hour max. So if you can think, all right, I can do this for myself, to prioritize myself for that time. And if you can do that 6 times, it's only 6 hours over a 12, 14, 18, 6, it could be 6 months that you do it over. If you think, I only need 6 hours to get this done and my skin's going to be better for it. And then once you've done that initial 6 or so, then, you may get one touch up in 3 months. You may get a touch up in 6 or 12 months. It just depends on the person. Yeah, you're at that stage with maintenance now. So
spring now after winter, I'm like, I really feel like I need bit of a clean up, exfoliation.
It's the best way to go. And it does do that exfoliation as well, which people don't think of skin needling as doing that, but the vibration of the pen helps.
Just before, you touched on safety with skin needling and people looking for an experienced therapist. Are there any other tips on how people can know if someone's really experienced in microneedling?
I think the biggest thing is go in and have a consultation and look at their history. Someone's just freshly graduated and they've bought a pen, they're doing it from, their garage at home with no, cleanliness or safety procedures, that obviously would probably be a red flag. If they've got a good history, if there's someone that you built a relationship with and you feel that you can trust them, I would go with that. The biggest thing is, I guess there's so many instant ways someone can do a short course now and that sort of stuff, which can be tricky. So you just want someone that's a good skin therapist that already has that track record, or if they are someone who's just started needling, if you've got that really good relationship with them and they understand your skin and they've done the time and the training, go ahead. Just there's a lot of at-home ones that you can get now. That's the scary part for us, is the at-home training.
Well, because we're not, generally, people aren't experienced in that and may not understand the skin barrier and the different layers of the skin.
Yeah, or even what they're needling into the skin. Not everything's safe. And a lot of things, even professional products, if you're needling something into the skin, I know of someone that needled in retinol and it was a 25% retinol serum, which is so strong. Their face was burnt off. And it was so sore, and they needled to a depth that was too low. And you look at these forums where people are asking for advice and they're like, hey, I bought this off eBay, or I bought this off Amazon or wherever. And that's for me is where the safety concern is more or less people trying to do it themselves at home. You're always going to be safer in the hands of a therapist. And I know it sounds funny for, you should come in and book an appointment because that's your business and all of that. But really the safety side of it, you can do a lot of long-term damage if you're not doing it right.
Talking about midlife skin and well-being in particular, what changes do you typically see in skin during perimenopause and menopause?
So that's when we get a really big loss of collagen. We have a big shift in hormones, obviously, as you know, we have so many hormonal changes over our lives as women, but in perimenopause and menopause, that's when things like that happen. So if you have collagen loss, you get often volume loss in your skin as well. So the lower half of your face tends to look more gaunt. And if you're anything like me, I'm waiting for my turkey gobbler to appear because that runs in our family.
I'm at that now.
And yeah, it all kind of starts to just droop a little bit, which is never fun. And that's obviously would vary person to person. Like I know hereditary wise, that's where I'm headed. So I'm doing everything I can now to prevent that. But there's the collagen losses are really quite big. You also have a slower healing rate as well. So someone that is 20 getting needling done would be different to a protocol of someone that's 60 because your skin doesn't, your cells don't turn over as quickly. So yeah, there's those sorts of things that we see. There's obviously a lot more sun damage that also comes up from your whole life. That all starts to appear from 30 onwards and it gets worse as you get towards, perimenopause and menopause. And after childbirth, you have things like melasma and all of that. So it's all of those things that compound into that perimenopausal time. But skin needling's a really good one to help pick that back up and help to manage that aging process.
And apart from skin needling, what other treatment options do you offer here at Oak and Eve Beauty that you'd recommend for women with concerns around skin aging?
I'd say radiofrequency skin tightening would be a really big one, and often we alternate between the two.
And how does that work?
So radiofrequency, a lot of people call it RF. You can actually combine RF and needling. There are devices out there that do 2-in-1. For us, what we do here is we do tripolar radiofrequency, which is a lot of technical talk, but it's a very safe one. In the past, we've had here and in other salons, I'm sure they've been the same, different radio frequency devices that often would zap, or you couldn't really control the temperature that they'd get to. So the heat function in the skin that is made through radio frequency wasn't controlled. Now it is. So what we're essentially able to control by doing that is the heat that goes into the skin triggers that, again, wound healing response, and it targets our fibroblasts, which is our collagen and elastin factory in our skin. And the collagen and elastin is where our mattress of our skin is made. So if you're looking at something like, the aging process, that's what starts to break down as soon as we hit our early to mid-20s. So by the time we get into that perimenopausal stage, that's when, we've had quite a few years of that loss and we start to see those signs of aging. So by doing something like radiofrequency, you're helping to, there's no penetration aside from heat, which is nice if some people prefer it. Yeah. There's no downtime. It gives you a nice lift and sculpt as well. It's like a facelift in a facial, which is good. But we actually put that into another treatment of ours called an Ultra Pro2 Lift, which combines 5 technologies. So you've got radiofrequency, exfoliation, which is an oxygen facial essentially with the physical exfoliation. So it feels like it bubbles and you feel it there, but it's, I guess, a modern, more progressive version of microdermabrasion. Okay. You also then have ESA, which is electrical skin activation, which sounds very scary, like some sort of Frankenstein thing. But what it is it essentially has little tiny zaps within the skin. It feels like a little sparkler in the skin, which happens during a radiofrequency. Right. And if radiofrequency is like the mattress, this gives you that topper. It reactivates those cells that are almost gone to keep them plump for as long as possible before they go away. And then you've also got ultrasound and lymphatic drainage, which your lymphatic system obviously helps with getting rid of toxins, and that's your body's filter. So there's a lot in it, and it's a lot of fancy talk, but essentially it's, if you don't want to go down the track of needling, or even if you do, it's great to combine with it. Yeah, and that radio frequency side of things is wonderful. Really, we see some great results from it. It's also good for redness reduction. You can treat acne with it. There's so many different things. We've even seen clients that have had like those fine lines and wrinkles, but they've also wanted to help with capillaries and stuff like that. So there's different ways you can manipulate it. So the whole aging spectrum can still be targeted with radiofrequency. And skin needling would probably be my first choice, but radiofrequency is a very close second.
But it's good to have both options for people who might not want to do the skin needling, or like you said, balance them out, have one of RF, then skin needling.
Yeah, and they just work differently, but they still both get you to the same goal. They're both heading in the same direction, which is good.
That's great. You've got all the technologies here. What are some of your go-to skincare products for midlife skin? Any key ingredients or any brands that you choose?
So there's, like in terms of ingredients, retinol would be my number one, and sunscreen. Retinol works on so many different levels to help support the skin in terms of regeneration. It was originally brought out for acne. And so it was all about, healing and clearing the skin. And in the past, it's been kind of, feared because it can be quite strong. But now there's so many different formulas that include retinol to do different things. There's natural versions, there's quite strong versions, there's everything in between. But retinol is definitely something that once you start taking, a regular routine with retinol in it, you notice the difference in your skin. You just get much better results for much longer as well, because it helps to support what you're doing with your skin needling as well.
It's been proven, hasn't it, to
has.
affect the wrinkles in the skin.
Yeah, you can literally see a difference. And some of the products now are gentle enough that you don't have to kind of drip feed them into your skin. You can go straight in.
Right.
There's lots of technology in skincare now that's come out in the last couple of years. And that's part of the reason why we partner with Image Skincare.
Yes.
Because they are very technology driven. So they're always looking at the next thing that's coming along, and they're constantly updating their formulas, which is a really good thing. The products support the results, which is great. And we're also bringing on O Cosmetics because we want to have another...
I love them.
Yeah, O Cosmetics is a wonderful brand, and we're really
Australian
excited.
as
They're
well.
Australian, female founded, which is what we love.
Perfect.
There's no one brand that does it all. And it could even be budgetary as well,
For sure.
The fact that someone might like a lotion or an oil, there's all different formulas that allow you to do different things. And by having multiple skincare lines, it helps. So I wouldn't say there's one ride or die, but we really love Image Skincare and O Cosmetics. They're our two that we choose to partner with. But the other one is SPF, for sure.
Prevention rather than...
Absolutely. And also supporting the results you're getting. There's no point getting needling and then going out and getting sunburnt the next day because you've wounded your skin and then you've stressed your skin. You're not going to get that controlled healing. You want to reverse the signs of aging. The sun's the quickest way to age yourself.
And the formulations with sunscreen these days, they have hydrating ingredients. There's different ones for oilier skin.
You can even get ones like we have some products here that have not just a tint but also like a shimmer through them, so you get a glow.
Nice.
There's so much you can do. Some are like makeup primers now.
I like it to be a bit of a primer as well.
Yeah, because I think in the past, and I know this when I used to work in makeup, when I'd work at Napoleon and then I went on to work for MAC, you'd see, this has got SPF 25 in my foundation. I don't need SPF. But we know in our climate that that's not the case. So you do need a proper functioning sunscreen. And by having something that you can choose that works for you, whether it be something that's tinted so you don't have to wear foundation, or a zinc because you like the texture, or you want something. Yeah. And you can choose your protection level, you can choose your ingredients, and you can find one that works for you. But no one sunscreen is going to suit everybody.
Yes. Apart from sunscreen and retinol, do you have another favourite product or ingredient?
I think hyaluronic acid is something that it's a very simple ingredient and it's in a lot of things. But if your skin's dehydrated, no matter what you do after that, you're going to be fighting a losing battle. So if you choose to add things like niacinamide or any of those other, buzzword ingredients, vitamin C is another great one. There's lots of different things you can do, but if your skin's not hydrated, you're behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
So I would say hyaluronic acid something, or another, it might be shea butter is another really beautiful hydrator depending on your skin and your preferences, but hydration is key. And water isn't enough because our skin gets the leftovers.
I struggle with that.
Transepidermal water loss. Yep.
Yes. So, constantly trying to hydrate it. But what I was going to say as well, don't you find the skin needling makes your skin so much more receptive to your good products that you're using? It does make your skin more hydrated.
It does, yeah. It improves the efficacy of your skincare because you've got a functioning skin underneath, and also as we do the little microchannels which the needles create, that allows the skincare to penetrate better as well. So but transepidermal water loss, like what you said, is very common in Australia because of our climate. Humidity, like I have a friend that lives in Darwin and she's constantly got dry skin, and you'd think with the humidity and the sweat that she'd actually be more hydrated, but she's not. It's all coming out. So you want to have something that traps that in.
What's one piece of advice you'd give someone wanting to feel more confident in their skin, especially in midlife?
I would say if you're looking particularly for skin help, find a skin therapist that you love, that doesn't feel like you're going in and whether it be being sold to or being shamed into for something like not drinking enough water, for example. Yeah. You want someone that understands your life, and you want someone that understands your limitations so that they can create something that works for you to get you to where you want to go. And feeling confident in your own skin might mean that you wake up and you pop on a 10-step routine because that makes you feel good. Or it might be getting up, washing your face, chucking sunscreen on, you're out the door. Everyone's going to be different. But whatever that is, feeling confident enough to know that, okay, I'm doing what I can for myself so that I can feel better, that for me, I feel like is where you want to get to. And, you know, it might be getting your brows done as well. That makes you feel better because then your brows are done and you feel like, you know, you get your regrowth done. Yeah, those sorts of things, or a lash lift or whatever it may be. But whatever it is that makes you feel good in the morning, that's what you should do, regardless of what that looks like.
What's one thing you wish everyone knew about looking after their skin?
You're never too young to look after your skin, big time. I think with skin health as a whole, there's so much confusion and you don't have to do it all. You don't have to have 15 different skincare products. You don't have to have the best of the best either. Like sometimes getting a cheaper cleanser, for example, to allow you to get a better serum is the right choice for you. The same as if you've got something going on and you're like, I've got stress in my life and I break out when that happens, giving yourself the grace to let that happen. Like I know I struggle with back knee. I get acne on my back, particularly in winter. And I know as soon as spring comes, I freak out and I want to scratch it all off and I want to pick it. But I'm also like, okay, I know in a couple of weeks it'll start to clear. This is a phase I'm in. It's fine. Same as good old growing chin hair after having a baby. You know, like you've got to accept that those things happen and just be happy to kind of go with the flow. And it's a process that no one wants to go through, but beating yourself up about it doesn't make it any better.
No, that's right. Like you said before, it's just meeting yourself where you're at. Yeah, it might be just one small thing that helps you to feel more confident.
Exactly, yeah. And that could be getting up in the morning and making a coffee and just having a minute for yourself. Or it could be, you know, doing your hair for 3 hours in the morning because that makes you feel good because your hair looks great. Like, everyone's different.
Yeah, that's so true. Are there any trends or innovations in skincare that you're excited about right now?
There's an ingredient that's going around at the moment called exosomes.
Ooh, I haven't
So
heard that.
you'll likely have it in your skin needling treatment today, which exosomes they're like little messengers.
Okay.
And what they do is they tell your skin what it needs so that the function of the skin and the trigger happens. So for example, if the exosomes are used as a slip medium in skin needling very, very often, and those exosomes go in and they get in your skin and they talk to the different cell actions and they allow those things to do what they need to do. So it's like having a little handyman in your skin, essentially. And you see increased cell turnover and regeneration, you see quicker wound healing, you see less redness. So it's got that anti-inflammatory benefit.
Yeah.
And in our climate and in our environment here, and I think with the stressful lives we have, lots of screen time, all of that, the less inflammation, the better, because that helps everything function better. Yeah, and it's in a lot of things, like it's in our retinols now. It's in some sunscreens. There's also another version of it called liposomes, which does a slightly different version.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of different things out there, but exosomes are pretty cool.
Would you like to share with our listeners 3 ways that you look after yourself and mind your being?
I think for me, I'm a big gardener. I absolutely love getting out in the garden. Yeah. So at the moment, it's like my favourite time in the whole year because spring's here. I go out and I'm like, oh, I've got a new seedling, I've got this, and I have my cup of tea in the morning and water my garden. That for me is my 10 minutes for me.
Yep.
There's no technology. I feel like I can breathe and just
nature, like
nature,
grounding.
touch some grass and get out there and feel better about yourself, and you feel better for the rest of your day. It's like people that exercise in the morning because it makes them feel good. That's my feel good.
Yeah.
And I think for my own like skin health and that, I know that stress is a big trigger for me. So that eliminates a lot of those issues if I take that time for myself. Another way I'd say is making sure I owe it to myself to get up and wash my face at night. It's so easy to sit on the couch and you're like, oh, I'm a potato.
Tired.
Yeah, and you're like, no, I've taken care of my skin. I've done the right things. I want to go to bed the right way. And I really love my linen way too much to have makeup on it. It's too expensive. And I'm like, no, I'm not ruining my pillowcase. So yeah, that's another thing that I think is really important. And like nourishment as well is really, really good. So things like having essential fatty acids in your diet are really good. Yep. Just makes everything work. They're essential for life.
Beautiful for your skin,
great for your
brain.
skin. Yeah, so many different things. There's also another anti-inflammatory which you can use. So having those little bits of wellness throughout your day, I think are important. It doesn't need to be this big, retreat journey where you have to completely overwhelm your life. It's just little moments of wellness. And that's a big part of what we try to do here, is that even if you're coming in for a big, intense treatment or something that you wouldn't necessarily get relaxation from, we try to, slip moments in there, whether it be a cup of tea after your treatment, a little slice or a treat.
Just
or
lovely.
Yeah, those little things. Or in a massage, choosing which infusion, so you know what scent you would like to have in the room. And there's little things. It takes no extra time in our massage to just use a different cream, but it's more enjoyable for the client. So it's those little moments, scatter them as much as we can.
Well, us clients do notice those little moments. Like, I know I've been here a number of times. It's a little hand massage, the beautiful music you're playing, or a scent in the air.
Yeah, it's
your
little
salon
things.
is beautiful aesthetically.
Oh,
so
thank you.
You walk in, it's light, it's just beautiful and calming.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too. If you already come in and you're calm, you're not spending half of your facial time or your massage time calming down, so you get more out of it. But yeah, we have a lot of people come in and be like, wow, this place is beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a lot of Pinterest when we were setting this place up.
And we can tell. It's beautiful.
Thanks. I wish my house looked like this. It doesn't.
Me too.
I've got 2 kids that are really little, and there's trucks and blocks, and
But that's what it is.
the stage and phase. Yeah. So it's but no, it feels calm when you come in here, which is great.
No, it's beautiful. I love it. And
Thank you.
because obviously I'm a client here, but also when I was ready to get my skin needling done again, I wanted to come somewhere local. And I know some of my friends, they've asked me about the skin needling treatment, but they're not really familiar with it. So thank you for doing this to educate people.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's not intensive at all. So
No, it's not as scary. I think, unfortunately, the way that it was rolled out and the way that the hype has happened, it's done very little for its marketing appeal.
Yeah, just the word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's also known as collagen induction therapy. Some people think of it that. It sounds a bit nicer.
And that's exactly what it does. It plumps up your stimulates your collagen.
Yeah, so talking about the function of it rather than the motion and the process. So yeah, collagen induction therapy sounds a lot nicer, but it's known so much now as skin needling. We just got to run with that. But yeah.
And I find it like a little bit scratchy. So not like needles, you don't feel like needles are penetrating the skin. It might feel like a little bit scratchy, but like you said, with the vibration as well, it's like a little massage for your skin. So you can even feel calm in some parts of it.
You can, yeah. I had mine done, as I said, just over a fortnight ago, and there were parts that I was like, oh, it kind of hit a little bit there, like over my brow bone and across like the bar of the bridge of my nose. But I know that that's areas where my skin is a lot thinner, where on the rest of my face, like chin, cheeks, even forehead, you don't feel it really. Like it's where you've got a bone underneath the skin. I think there's less fat pad.
And it's so quick on those moments
it's so
anyway.
Quick, yeah.
Like
and
you're done.
Yeah, when she got to like the tip of my nose, it actually tickled because it just vibrated the end of my nose. I felt like I needed to sneeze. So it's definitely not as scary as you think.
No, it's not. So for people listening who are local to the area in the Illawarra, where can listeners find you and Oak&Eve Beauty? Where can they book a treatment and follow you online?
So we have our website. It's probably the easiest place. You can get all your info there. So it's www.oakandevebeauty.com.au. Otherwise, you can find us under Oak&Eve Beauty on Instagram and on Facebook. Otherwise, just pop in if you're local, especially if you're in Oak Flats. We're right here on the main road and we're happy to chat. Yeah, we'll talk forever. We've got no problem with having a chat if you have any issue. I'm really lucky. I have wonderful team here.
Build a beautiful team.
Yeah, I think that's also a big part of it. Like I know any client can walk in and they're going to be greeted like a friend. And that's also part of that journey of that relationship and that wellness for a client too. If you can walk in and feel good.
It is. It all goes together, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
All about your balance and your well-being.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming on today to talk about skin health, because it is part of our wellness and our well-being. Our skin's our biggest organ.
It is. And yeah, I think people forget about their skin. So it's really nice when you can have a moment to realign and realize that this beautiful organ that we have holds us together.
Yeah.
So you've got to help hold it together too. Yeah. And but yeah, thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
No, it's been great. Thank you. And I will put all your links to your website and everything in our show notes.
Awesome.
So people will be able to find you.
Yeah, come say hi. We'll be here.
Thank you so much, Liv.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mind Your Being podcast. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please follow the show wherever you get your podcasts and share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. If you have a moment, please leave a quick review. It really helps others discover the podcast. Thanks again for being here. Take care, and until next time, mind your being.